morning, and welcome to the Thursday edition of Cincy Lifestyle. We are so glad you joined us today. You will be glad you did. We got a great show for you.
Yeah, we do. Good morning to you, Mona. Good morning to all of you. It's a great show. It's a beautiful day out there. The skies are going to cloud up a little later, but right now it's gorgeous. Now, that matters because we understand that the Air Force is going to have a demonstration team flying over some of the area hospitals later this morning, a little bit after the show. So if you hear what sounds like thunder, no, that's the sound of freedom, the U.S. Air Force saluting frontline healthcare workers by flying over some of the hospitals as part of a routine training flight. So if you hear that, that's what it is. And Mona, that's a wonderful thing because they did that in D.C.
Yeah, it is. I saw it and on the news, and it was wonderful. And I just hope that, all of us can get into that mode of appreciating our first-line workers.
Yes, indeed. Agreed. Fully agreed. They have totally proven that they deserve that kind of recognition and so much more. Hey, I don't know about you, but it's cold out there. Have you been noticing that?
I have. It's cold in here, in my house, too. Yes.
Well, that's because
I have noticed.
That's because the people in charge of heating your house don't like to spend money. Yeah, exactly.
But we know, that's right.
But we are in the middle of what's called a little winter. I think it's dogwood winter. And the history behind that, Mona, is fascinating. It's a thing people did when they didn't have access to calendars on a regular basis, so they kind of judged the transition of seasons by what was going on outside, like the blooming of dogwood trees. There are about 5 little winters: dogwood winter, whippoorwill winter, locust winter, blackberry winter, which those of us from the South have heard about, and redbud winter. Now, Mona, those are the official winters. There's another one called Lindsay-Woolsey winter. Want to guess what that is?
Wow. I don't have a guess, Clyde.
It's another sign of warm weather coming. And it comes from back when people homemade long johns out of linen and wool. And therefore, the nickname for it was Lindsay-Woolsey. And so Lindsay-Woolsey winter was the last cold snap before they put away the long johns.
Well, I brought mine back out, so.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, you can put them back shortly. Hey, we're talking on, we're going to continue kind of on a clothing direction there. How about imagine you take your hobby and you turn it into a successful business all before you graduate college. Now, that's exactly what a Northern Kentucky University student has done with his custom-made shoes. See, I told you there was a clothing tie there. Right now, I want to welcome Isaiah Kelly, the founder of Smoove Creations. Isaiah, thank you so much for talking to us this morning.
Oh, sweet. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, right quick before we get to the shoes, I understand congratulations are in order because you are soon going to be wrapping up your MBA. Can you briefly tell us how that's going to work?
Got you. So I'll be graduating from Northern Kentucky University this Saturday, and then I will be, going on to get my MBA at the College of Business at Northern Kentucky as well.
All righty. Well, congratulations. Now, tell us a little bit about how you started this business because of a connection with Shoe Carnival, working at Shoe Carnival.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So in high school, I did not have a passion for shoes or sneakers or anything like that. It wasn't until my senior year of high school, that summer going into my freshman year of college, I took a job as a sales associate at Shoe Carnival. And honestly, just being around shoes 40 hours a week, I completely just fell in love with shoes and became a full-blown sneakerhead. And so going into throughout my freshman year of college, I would go on YouTube and just figure out how I can get shoes for cheap, or how can I be a sneakerhead, or just how can I hustle and get shoes. And I came across this 12 or 13-year-old kid customizing a pair of shoes, and he was selling them for $300-$400 a pop. And to me, being a college student, I was like, man, that's easy. That's no problem. For some reason, I just thought it was nothing and I could do it without an issue. And so going into that summer of 2017, after my freshman year, I saved up the money. I was working at Walmart. I saved up the money and I started doing it myself.
Oh, wow. So I'm looking at the shoes. Those are some really fascinating designs. How'd you come up with those?
So a lot of times, well, that's a great reason, having a team behind me. I have very talented people, who are very submerge themselves into the fashion industry, and also into the sneaker industry. And we also have just our customers. A lot of times, our customers will come up with new designs that they want,
Ah.
just different ways to be unique, and we're able to execute them, and other people like them as well, so we're able to sell them.
Okay, so what's the coolest or your most favorite design?
I would say my favorite design. This past December, I customized a pair of cleats for an NFL player. His name's Preston Brown. He's a middle linebacker for the Raiders. I would say that's probably my favorite design, just because growing up, it was always like a dream to be able to play in the NFL, and I'm now able to hone in on a craft that made it to that scene, and was even debuted on national television. So that's my favorite one for sure.
Okay, so this sounds kind of like a sky's the limit business. What are your plans for the future?
So my plans for the future is really just honing in on this. That's why I'm going to get my MBA, really submerging myself in business. And right now we do custom shoes, but our goal is to be able to customize T-shirts, hats, wallets, just all sorts of apparel, and giving people a full range of self-expression.
Got just a few seconds left. What would your advice be to a potential young entrepreneur watching you right now?
I would say my advice, especially for my generation, I feel like patience is just a huge advice that I would hone in on. I feel like everybody kind of wants it right now. And I've been doing this for going on 4 years now. And it started off as a hobby. I didn't even think I would be making money off of it, or let alone a business. But with patience and hard work and honing in on a craft, you never know. So.
Okay. So right quick, how can people find out more about you or connect with you and your shoes?
Right. They can find us on all social media outlets at Smoove_Creations and SmooveCreations.com, SMOOVE, and Creations.com.
Isaiah, congratulations and the best of luck to you. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Indeed. Mona?
Well, if you're still looking for the perfect Mother's Day gift or simply appreciate the craftsmanship of handmade jewelry, look no further. Teresa Yee is a local gem collector and jewelry maker who is producing one-of-a-kind, stunning works of art right here in the tri-state. Take a look.
Now we have a lot more time on our hands.
True. And let me tell you, hammering things is really great stuff. I mean, I have a sledgehammer in here.
I'm gonna go now. So what started out as a hobby in '08 has now become a side hustle, yet sustainable second income. And I'm here with Teresa, the owner, founder, and creator of River and Birch. And it is a silver smithing and jewelry making company. You produce beautiful pieces. Teresa, tell us a little bit about how you got your start.
Well, back in '08, I was part of a large layoff at my company, working in advertising. And I think a lot of people lost jobs then. And I just was walking through Michael's one day, looking at beads, and then I was looking at magazines there, and they had jewelry instruction magazines. So I was like, I think I can do this. And so I bought a bunch of stuff and I took it home, and the stuff was awful that I made. I mean, it was. And but gradually I just kept doing it. Yeah. I started taking classes. And when you get to taking classes with people who really know what they're doing, it really helps you out.
You start to know what you're doing.
Exactly.
When did it actually start becoming fun?
Probably having pieces with multiple components come together. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, this is working out, you know?
Practice makes perfect. And over the last 12 years, Teresa has been creating an assortment of collections, ranging from rings to necklaces, earrings, and more. Many of them featuring colorful hand-picked gems or customized engravings of quotes or even pet renderings. She also makes it a point to keep the craft sustainable from beginning to end.
I care about how my pieces affect the planet. I try to source stones responsibly. Most of the stones that I buy these days are from cutters that I know. I even know a few people who own mines. Oh, wow. So it's kind of cool to be able to trace those back. That's not every single stone yet, but it's something that I keep incorporating more and more of. And then like everything from my silver, which is 100% recycled, I use all my scrap, or I send it to be refined, and then it turns back into silver that other people can use. Yeah. My packaging I keep to a minimum. Yeah. So there's a gift box that's completely recycled materials. I have a tiny little care card in each package. The tissue paper can be recycled. It's also tarnish inhibiting. So if you want to keep the tissue paper that's in there, that will help your silver stay shiny.
So you're really going to the source and talk about truly eco-friendly.
That's the goal, yes.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying. I'm really digging in there.
Good job. Well, Mother's Day is around the corner, even if it's just a nice gift for a friend. River and Birch. Teresa, thanks.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, you know, Mother's Day is right around the corner. So if you'd like to gift her a piece from River and Birch, head to riverandbirch.com or follow Teresa on Instagram and for all her latest collections at River and Birch. Clyde?
All right, Mona, thanks a lot. Coming up here on Cincy Lifestyle, you ever heard of Mamie Smith? She's featured on one of Cincinnati's building high murals, but chances are you didn't know she was the queen of jazz. We'll tell you all about her during Cincinnati Curiosities, so keep it right here. Many of you may be familiar with King Records, the studio that launched such names as James Brown. But before the king came the queen of jazz. Today on Cincinnati Curiosities, we're taking a closer look at the life and legacy of Mamie Smith. It's not the blues we know today, that's for sure. When we hear Mamie Smith sing crazy blues with our modern ears, it sounds positively archaic. In 1920, however, the song and the singer landed, quote, like a thunderbolt. Mamie Smith, the Bradford Tunes. The Jazz Hounds, as the pickup band named themselves, included Ward Dope Andrews on trombone, Ernest Elliott on clarinet, Leroy Parker on violin, Addington Major on cornet, and Willie the Lion Smith on piano. On August 10th of 1920, Mamie Smith and the Jazz Hounds cut two more sides, Harlem Blues and It's Right Here For You. During the session, an OK staff member suggested changing the name of Harlem Blues so as not to frighten white record buyers. Bradford agreed, and the side was issued as Crazy Blues. It is recognized as the earliest vocal blues recording. This time, OK sent the record out immediately, aimed at the African-American audience. Jason and Jones described the impact of this record. Quote, "The recording of Crazy Blues hit Harlem like a thunderbolt. It had a sound unlike anything else in the record stores at the time. Crazy Blues sold more than 1 million copies in its first year and opened the door to blues artists such as Bessie Smith, no relation, and Ma Rainey. Throughout the 1920s, Mamie and her Jazz Hounds toured extensively. The Jazz Hounds, over the years, included quite a few musicians who went on to stellar careers, including Coleman Hawkins, Bupper Miley, Sidney Bechet, and Lucky Millinder. Millinder closed the circle by recording regularly at King Records in Cincinnati. And let's welcome the man behind these Cincinnati Curiosities, the one, the only, Greg Hand. Greg, always good to have you.
Good to be here.
Talk about what led you to this particular curiosity.
I was thrilled to see this mural go up. Artworks has been doing such a great job with the James Brown mural and all the other musical murals in town. But it's near the Pendleton intersection where there are a couple of restaurants that I frequent, the Boomtown Biscuits and Nation and Lucius Q. And so I see people parking and looking at this mural, and I'll ask them, you know, who this is, and I've yet to find somebody who has ever heard of Mamie Smith. So I started doing some digging into this story because I was familiar with her through some books like Spreading That Rhythm Around, which is like the history of African American pop, and even Steve Tracy's book on the blues, Going to Cincinnati, about blues in Cincinnati. So I knew who she was, but Cincinnati apparently does not, and I think we ought to remember.
I agree. Now they do.
You know, once she got famous, she left Cincinnati, is
Yes.
that right?
Yes, she hit the road with a vaudeville show, went to the Big Apple, and that's where she found her fame. But she did come back to Cincinnati. She had a show at Music Hall. One of the side rooms at Music Hall was a very well-known jazz lounge at the time, and she did come back about 2 years after her big hit.
Okay, let's talk about another curiosity, because her tombstone says that she was born in 1883. What's up with that?
Indeed. There is a researcher named John Jeremiah Sullivan who just came to Cincinnati last year to announce that he had finally located her birth record, and that she was not born in 1883. She was born in 1891. And that date is consistent with some of the age announcements later on in her career. And he located where she was born, which is about half a block south of the convention center.
Okay, all right.
Just one last quick question, because I know people might wonder, is she related to Bessie Smith?
No,
Okay.
a lot of Smiths going around.
A lot of Smiths going around.
She was married very briefly to another musician named Smith. Bessie Smith's no relation. Willie the Lion Smith, no relation. She stood on her own, and boy, did she stand proud.
All
Yes,
right.
she did.
Well, thank you so much.
And we're proud of her, and thank you.
We are.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely,
much,
Greg.
Greg. It's always a pleasure.
Wow, I love that story. All right, well, coming up on Cincy Lifestyle right after the break, hey, you have to join us on Instagram. So we post all kinds of behind-the-scenes pictures from right on the set and when we venture out into the community. So follow us on Instagram at Cincy Lifestyle.
Great deal of excitement around here as we look at perfectly beautiful blue skies out there, because we are expecting the Ohio Air National Guard to fly over our community in about 5 or 10 minutes in a very thunderous roar, as a way of saying thank you to the frontline healthcare professionals who are helping so many of us do our best to make it through this COVID-19 crisis. So keep your eyes and ears to the sky this morning, Mona.
All right, thank you, Clyde. You know what? I'm going to ask you to tell us what's coming up tomorrow on the show.
Oh, chickened out, huh? Didn't want to talk about it. Okay. Here we go. Coming up tomorrow on Cincy Lifestyle, we head to a funky place full of vintage treasures. Pixel Base Alpha is where Hollywood shops when they come to film movies here in the Queen City. We go behind the scenes to check out all the diamonds in the rough. Then how much do you really know about your favorite celebrities? Well, like, what does The Rock eat on a cheat day? We're going to tell you all about that in another edition of Who Knew? All that, so much more tomorrow on Cincy Lifestyle, Mona.
All right. That sounds good, Clyde. Thank you. Hey, I can't wait for that. Hey, quickly, you know what? For some of you, I know that have belong to gyms. They've had problems with their membership and getting refunds. But I just want to tell you, where I work out for Zumba, I got a check from the city of Blue Ash this week to refund me for the money I paid ahead for my Zumba classes. So I just appreciate that. And I know a lot of people are going through that. So thank you, City of Blue Ash.
Oh, you're so lucky we're socially distancing, or you'd be buying me lunch. Thank you, Mona. Thank you for watching. That's Cincy Lifestyle for Thursday, May 7th. Get out, get some fresh air, and maybe catch a few Air Force jets flying over. Who knows? Have a great day.
Thanks for watching our video. If you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button. You can also check out full episodes of the show you've never seen before, or watch your favorites again and again. And as always, make it a great day.